with Roberto.
Hi, Pascal. With Alonso Martinez gone with the Costa Rican national team, how does that affect you up front, and what do you expect? One would presume that Baccarat would be starting. What do you expect from him, and what changes for you philosophically with Baccarat in the lineup as opposed to Martinez?
Yeah, unfortunately, Alonso has been called up for the national duty, but that's also a privilege to be there. We just have to deal with the fact that he's not with us, and Munsaf has been working really hard from day one to get his chance as a number 9. It's not an easy battle to be in competition with Alonso, so this is his opportunity to show where he's at the moment. We have all the confidence in him to have a good striker up front. Obviously, his profile is just a little bit different than Alonso's, but playing-wise, we won't adjust anything. It's just making sure that we understand his qualities in order to be successful with Munsaf up front instead of Alonso.
Thank you.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Alex.
Hi, Pascal. This is Alex only from AM New York. How's it going?
Hi, Alex.
The team has won back-to-back games and has built a strong amount of confidence. What has impressed you so far about their performances in those 2 matches? Thanks.
That's a good question. Creating a more consistency throughout the games. This is a topic that we've addressed from the start. In order to be consistent, we've created a program where we build our confidence, we develop our play style, we get our physical fitness to a higher level, and over the past few weeks, months, you've seen them grow, and then it's always good to see the consistency transferred to the pitch on a Saturday night. So hopefully we can continue this and be consistent.
George?
Hey, what's up, Coach? George from the Exchange FC. I want to talk a little bit about Shore, one of the younger guys on the team, who actually had a fantastic game. Can you just talk a little bit about what you've seen with him and him kind of being one of the younger guys, but still looking like a great baller, somebody who's been there for a while?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johnny's doing quite well. It doesn't come as a surprise to me. I've mentioned this a few times already. During pre-season, Johnny presented himself as a serious candidate to play minutes in the first team, and he earned his minutes in the first team. So hopefully he can continue this and develop himself to become a regular and a steady player for our first team, because I agree he adds good quality to the team, and for such a young player in this moment to be on the pitch like he's been in the previous games is a big compliment to him and the rest of the team.
Michael?
Pascal, it's Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time.
Hi, Mike.
The MLS roster gives you a lot of redundancy in certain positions, but obviously when you look at the injuries, and we were just talking about Alonso's international call-up, where do you think you have the most deficiency, or most, how many pieces do you think you're missing before you feel you have a full, complete roster?
Well, we have a complete roster. Obviously, we have our attention on the market still because the window is open, but we have a complete roster. I'm perfectly fine with the guys that we have at the moment, and that's where I'm going to focus on until things change. But I'm emphasizing the fact that I'm really, really pleased with the current roster, so no worries from my side.
Scott, Sean? Sean? All right, we'll come back to you, Sean. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Pascal. Chris Campbell from the outfield.
Hi, Chris.
Keaton Parks has been on to a strong start to the year, and he's mentioned this year so far he's been playing a little bit deeper than he usually has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been, playing him there, has that been more of the really kind of the other midfield options that you have, or is there something in particular in his game that you decided that maybe he should be a little bit deeper in the midfield than he has been playing in several years past? Thanks.
Well, the thing is, we've added this. We're trying to add this to his game. Obviously, Keaton is a very good player, and very important player for the way we want to play. So we're looking for a good balance in order to have our quality midfield players on the ball when needed. So there will be moments that he has to come down and play a little deeper. But there is also quite a few moments where he can play more closer to the strikers or to the attackers. But it's more like we're trying to add more things to his game in order to be more included and even more important for the team than he was before.
Andrew?
Hi, Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue. You've had 2 tough road games already this season in Miami and LA. Faced another one this weekend. Winning on the road in MLS has been tough for a long time. What have you seen from the team's performances, specifically while playing on the road, that you maybe focused on wanting to improve now going into Columbus? Just from the first couple games and just even you just experiencing like being a road team in MLS for the first couple times.
Interesting question also. I'm fully aware of their away results from the previous season. That's why also one of the things that we talked about in the beginning of the season was being more consistent overall in the season, and especially looking at the away games, there's a big challenge ahead for us. We did an okay job in the previous 2 games on the road. Miami, unfortunately, we dropped 2 points where we should have gotten 3. LA should have been a draw, but you get the loss because you switch off for just one moment. And that's how tough it can be. But that's not particularly on the road. That's every game in the MLS because you need to get comfortable with the result in order to lean back a little bit more in a game. And these games were tight, so there was no comfort there yet, which should have kept us on our toes. So going into this away game, the challenge will be the same, but we go into a home game or an away game with the same attitude. That's trying to win that game and don't look at the fact that you're on the road or playing at home. We just want to dictate our games and make sure we get the results that we're looking for.
Michael?
Well, this is Michael with Pro Soccer. After the game on Saturday, you mentioned that you were happy with the result, but not really with exactly how the team played kind of sloppily. Mm-hmm. How do you go about this week correcting that mistake? What have you guys been doing and training to sort of correct that and sort of move into Columbus and play more clinical on the ball?
Yeah, I wasn't satisfied with the game. I was satisfied with the result, that's correct. But like in every training session, in every training week, you try to improve. So we're not just looking at the previous game. We're trying to improve our play style and our strategies overall. So we have our principles, and that is our leading factor going into every session. And there are moments in a week that we look at the opponent and we look back at the previous game in order to address a few things that we need to get better in, but nothing in specific in considering this game because, as I said, in the program itself, it's the development of play which stands out.
George?
Coach, I've seen you out doing a lot of events with the fans. You finally had your 2 first home games. Can you talk a little bit about the reception from the fans and finally being in front of the home crowd and, kind of getting out of the way and now just being in the mix with everybody? It seems like you're out in the streets with the people, so you become one of the fans per se.
Well, I was very curious, of course, to see how the reception would be. Being on the road, first in preseason and then 2 away games going into the MLS season, we had to wait for that moment. So seeing them in the home games was something I was looking forward to. But mainly I was looking forward to introducing the team and expose the players, if you will, in the way we're trying to play and go into games now and get the look and feel from the fans. That is something I was looking forward to mostly. And the reception, to be fair, in the home games has been fantastic. The energy was on the pitch, the energy was in the stadium, and that's how it should be because that's the chemistry that should be there in every game, and especially at home.
Christian?
Hi, Coach. Wilfred Nancy, your opposite number, has a very clear and defined style of play and how he likes Columbus to operate. What challenge do you envisage your players facing this weekend when they take on Columbus?
also a very interesting question from our research in going into Columbus and how they play. It's going to be a very interesting challenge to see if we can match each other's intensity of the game. I've seen all the games played by Columbus so far, and it's a very, very impressive team with good players and a good play style if I look at it from my perspective. But the intensity is something I'm looking forward to, because we've brought up our own intensity to a certain level and still trying to raise the bar. But playing against a team like Columbus is a matchup if you take intensity as a starting point.
No, bueno, como dije en muchas ocasiones, creo que son dos técnicos distintos, cada uno tiene su propio pensamiento, cada uno tiene su propia manera de ver el fútbol con distintas ideas. Después creo que se ve reflejado en la cancha las diferencias que pide cada uno, pero creo que tampoco es mucho cambio. A ver, es fútbol y creo que es bastante simple.
Yeah, there's obviously differences between both coaches. There's different tactics and ideologies between them. But at the end of the day, there's not much of a difference. It's just soccer, and it's just more. It's pretty simple after that. We'll go with Michael.
Julián, it's Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time. When you are on the field with Maxim Morales, it seems like he is directing the press from the team. I'm curious if that's if he's directing it because that's his job, or if he's teaching you so you guys can do the same press when he's not on the field.
Maxi es el que lidera la presión y hace bastantes movimientos y signos. ¿Es porque lo hace porque es su trabajo o lo hace para indicarles cómo presionar cuando él no está en la cancha?
No, bueno, Maxi sí, obviamente al ser delantero es parte de quien inicia la presión, pero junto al delantero que esté jugando, en este caso Alonso lo viene haciendo, son quien orientan para el lado que decidimos presionar. Entonces Maxi junto al delantero, el delantero que esté jugando, van a orientar la presión para darnos una idea a nosotros para seguir atrás de ellos. Ellos son quien comienza la presión, así que en base a lo que planificamos en la semana, como te repito, son ellos quien nos orientan a nosotros para seguir atrás de ellos.
Yeah, Maxi's playing up top, so he's one of the leaders in leading that pressure, and him alongside whoever's playing in the number 9 position, usually Alonso, are the two main guys that guide the pressure and start it, and then they lead the group, and that's how we go and attack and pressure these teams, also based off of the tactics and the game strategy that was talked about during the week. George?
Hola, ¿cómo estamos? Le quiero hablar un poco de el equipo internacional. Hay unos que se fueron para jugar con su ciudad, ¿no? ¿Usted tiene aspiración a ir a jugar internacional para Argentina?
Sí, obvio, es un sueño que tengo. Sí, lo he hecho en las juveniles, pero a la mayor obviamente que es algo que me encantaría, que sueño como jugador, como profesional. Y bueno, apunto a como meta en algún futuro, me gustaría mucho.
So the question was on Julián playing for the Argentina national team. It's something that it's definitely a goal of mine. I've played in the lower divisions, in the youth divisions with the team, but obviously it's a goal of mine to play with the national team and represent it, just as it is for every Argentinian professional player. And go with Andrew.
Hi, Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue. Is there anything that you've learned from the times with NYCFC when you've maybe not gotten the minutes that you've wanted and just the starts and game time that you've maybe wanted or expected, that you've kind of brought into this season and helped you sort of like learn and develop your game going into 2025 now that you've sort of carved out a bit of a bigger spot early in the season here?
¿Cómo has desarrollado tu juego y como jugador en sus últimas temporadas, especialmente con el tiempo que no has jugado mucho, ya que esta temporada estás jugando un poco más? ¿Cómo has visto ese cambio?
Bueno, creo que al no estar jugando mucho, lo que lo que me mantenía adentro, o por lo menos sentirme adentro, era el entrenamiento, tratar de siempre dar lo mejor de mí en el entrenamiento, porque creo que, y estoy convencido de que las oportunidades llegan y uno tiene que estar preparado y creo que para eso no hay excusa. Entonces, hoy en día el estar jugando creo que es algo que me pone contento y obviamente quiero prepararme de la mejor manera para poder mantenerme en esto.
Yeah, despite not playing or having a lot of minutes last season, how I felt as part of the group was during training, and I always gave my best during training and try to be the best player as possible and just be ready for the opportunity. These moments happen, and there is no excuse not to be ready for when they come. So the difference going into the season is just being a more part of the team and being able and happy to be able to contribute to the progress so far. Christian?
Hi, Julián. You talked there about your dream to play for the national team. I'm curious, what are you focusing on in terms of taking your next step as a player in terms of your development specifically?
¿En qué te estás enfocando ahorita específicamente en términos de desarrollo?
En tema de desarrollo.
Mm-hmm.
Bueno, creo que en lo que más me estoy enfocando es en la potencia, en la velocidad. Creo que es algo que quiero mejorar. Hay muchas cosas también en las que debo mejorar. Siempre va a haber cosas en las que me gustaría seguir creciendo. Y obviamente tengo 21 años, así que tengo mucho para aprender todavía y para seguir creciendo.
Yes, power and speed and strength is a couple of things that I'm focusing on this year. Obviously, I still have a lot of time on my side. I'm 21 years old, so there's always things to improve on, always things to work on. So, going to keep trying my best to keep learning and developing as a player. George,
if I can follow up.
Go ahead, Christian.
There was a lot of power and speed in the goal that you scored the other day against New England. How helpful has it been to develop that relationship with Hannes, and how did you develop that relationship with Hannes Wolf?
¿Cómo has desarrollado esta relación que tienes con Hannes? Se lo mostró en el campo con el gol que metieron juntos. ¿Cómo es esa relación con Hannes?
No, bueno, la relación es muy buena con él, con todos mis compañeros. Tenemos una relación muy profesional y obviamente dentro del campo, como lo digo siempre, cada compañero vamos a tratar de hacerlo mejor, de que dentro del campo ser como amigos, hermanos para poder llevarnos la victoria y obviamente tratar de hacer lo mayor posible para darle lo mejor al equipo.
I have strong relationships with everybody on the team, Hannes included, and I always try to maintain these good relationships with everyone on the roster, but especially on the field, we come together as a group, as a family, as brothers to fight for that same goal, which is to win games and give our best performances possible. And Christian, got another one?
Sure, got one last one. You mentioned you're very young, Julián. I'm curious, what is the best thing about being 21?
¿Qué es la mejor cosa de ser 21, de 21 años?
¿De ser qué?
De ser 21 años.
Creo que la energía, no sé, las ganas de todo el tiempo querer jugar y de estar adentro. Después, no sé, eso.
It's the energy and the ability to want to play and be part of the squad, and just happy to do what I do. George?
Yo le terminé de preguntar al coach cómo se sentía ya los últimos dos juegos con los fanáticos y la apoyada que te están dando usted, todos otros y todos los fanáticos que estaban esperando que ustedes ya llegaran a casa, ¿no? ¿Cómo se está sentando con todo eso y lo que te están mandando para atrás?
No, muy lindo. Bueno, creo que estar con la gente, con nuestros fans es algo que estábamos esperando mucho también porque veníamos de 2 juegos de estar afuera, así que lo disfrutamos mucho, estar ahí con nuestra gente, con el apoyo. La verdad que dentro del campo se siente mucho y bueno, aprovecho para agradecerles cuando se levantan, cuando nos ayudan, decirles que de adentro muchas veces necesitamos de su apoyo, necesitamos de que muchas veces nosotros los contagiamos a ellos y ellos nos contagian a nosotros también, que es algo que bueno, nosotros como jugadores sentimos y muchas veces necesitamos también.
It's been great to return home. We've been on the road the first 2 weeks of the season, and to have that welcoming reception felt amazing. We definitely feel it as players on the field. It's an energy that we bounce off of each other. They give us energy, and we need their help, and we also want their support to cheer us on during the match. And it's just been really good for them to welcome for the fans to welcome us home, and we want to thank them for all of the support and that they show us and give us on the field.